Hello my friends, my name is Irvin, also known as Kubuma. In today's video we are upgrading my computer with the GeForce RTX 2060. This card just came out and it's the best card you can buy for the money because it sits around $350. And I know that's a lot of money, but when you compare it to the other new cards that came out from Nvidia that sell for $600, $800, over $1,000, and this one sells for $350, and it should give you the performance of around GTX 1080, which is the previous high-end model of the same brand. Then when you consider that, this is the best performance for the money card right now, and this came out just recently at the time that you're watching this video. So I'm going to put this inside my computer, I'm going to upgrade, I'm going to remove this one, and I'm going to install this brand new one. So let me open this up real quick and show you. This is MSI Ventus graphics card. Then again, $350. There's a link in the description if you're interested. By the way, if you do use the link to purchase this card, I do get commission on that, and I appreciate you guys if you do use it, so thank you very much. So just to show you real quick, this comes with 6 GB of GDDR6 VRAM. It's 192-bit type of memory, and it has 3 display ports and 1 HDMI port. This card does also support ray tracing, but this is not why I bought this card. I bought it so I can actually use it for the performance and because it's affordable, comparatively speaking. Of course, I'd rather buy this than spend $1,000 on any of those other cards. So just to kind of tell you what you can expect in this video, I'm going to show you how to install it. That's great, but do make sure you stick around because I want to show you a test to see if this card can actually run in 4K. And that's one of my main things I actually want to show you through entirely this video. Not just to show you how to install this, but also show you the performance in 4K. I know this card will do well in 1440p. I've seen the test results. I've seen the benchmarks. I'm sure you guys have. If you've specifically looked for this type of card, and that's great. But I do want to see if I can make it work at 4K. There are some games who are a little bit easier to run on 4K. However, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to be delusional and say that I know that this is going to run in 4K or anything like that. However, I will do some tweaks to see if I can at least get 60 frames per second on some of the popular games that I play, and of course I will have to tweak those settings, and I will show you what that is, so make sure to stick around to watch that. Okay, so I don't know what this is. This came with an envelope. Just gonna do this real quick, guys, because I don't want to waste too much time. These are just the instructions. I am an IT professional, so I don't need to read the instructions. I don't know why they came in this envelope, but good on them. Here's the card. The reason I bought MSI is because the current card in here is an MSI. If you are buying this card, make sure you have a power supply that does support it. I think recommended total system power for this type of card is 500 watts. That's the recommended power. So if your system does not draw in total with this card more than 500 watts, then you may be able to use something that's less than that, but just keep that in mind. So this comes with 2 fans, and it has a PCI Express power connector that is 8-pin. So there should be an adapter in here for that. I think my power supply in here already has a built-in, but we'll check that just to make sure. Anyways, this is how it looks like. It looks like this is plastic plate. I mean, you get what you pay for, right? This is technically the low end of Nvidia's current model. However, it is considered a mid-range card. So we should be able to get some really awesome frames for this. Okay, let me move this out of the way, then we're gonna open this computer up. So let's open my custom computer up. Let's open it out. I don't even know. Anyways, mine comes with these little screws. I like this case. It's very clean, very simple. So you just remove the screws. If you have a different type of computer, it may look differently. I'm just gonna slide mine out. So I'm not gonna go into too much in detail because of that, because you may have a different computer. Just make sure you get a mid-tower type of computer. If you don't have enough space, then don't waste your time. It's not going to fit inside. So here's my current card, and this is also an MSI AMD R9 390. This card is still awesome in my opinion, and it has worked for me for many years, even in virtual reality if that is your thing. So I'm just going to remove it by disconnecting. This one comes with two connectors. One is a 6-pin, looks like it, and it looks like the other one is 8-pin. So I'm just going to disconnect that real quick. If you're just installing this type of card for the first time, you may not have this. Just make sure that you do have these. This other card should come with an adapter. If I'm lucky, well, there's no adapter. So we'll see how that goes. I do have one 8-pin, so okay, so I'm good. As long as we have this, we're good to go. So we're just going to use that like so once we install it, and that should do it. So make sure you do have this. These cards should come with some kind of an adapter that lets you at least connect. And keep in mind, a lot of people that do these type of videos, they don't show you this type of stuff. However, I do, because I like to be thorough. So it's an adapter that basically turns this type of just a power connector into one of these, which are either 6-pin or 8-pin. So you attach it and it lets you connect it like that, just in case you don't have a dedicated PCIe connector like these, right? So see, a lot of the video cards also come with, you know, you can either have two 8-pins, some are two 8-pins, some there are two 6-pins. This one is just one 8-pin. So it draws less power than this one, supposedly. By the way, my CPU is still a really good CPU. It's an i7, and it's a 4770K. It's a bit older, but it's still really solid CPU. And I don't plan to change it anytime soon, but this year I will have another build with possibly AMD and Intel. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, you have to unscrew these screws here to free this card. If you don't have them, if you don't have a card here, then you don't have to worry about this part. Just be patient with me while I do this for the folks that may need to know how to do this. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, there's some dust in here. And yes, I will clean it once available. Once you unscrew your card, if you have one card, there's a little notch back down here that is holding the card in. So you have to actually press on that in order to release it from the PCI slot. I will zoom in for you guys so you can see. You see that? This PCI Express slot, see this PCI Express slot has a little secure tab, and if you push it this way, it's going to release it. Because once you slide the card in, it goes back in and locks it. Now I have to push it on this way to release this one too. So that's very simple. You guys just kind of remember that in case you have to take it out. Okay? Now my card is released. And again, this is another AMSI, which was a really good card. It's really clean actually, so I guess I don't have much dust in my computer. This is what typically it looks like in a PCI Express slot. You have to push it on this. This thing is actually really neat. So this is an MSI board. This one you actually push down like that, which is pretty rare to see on a lot of motherboards, but this one is actually like that. So I actually struggled a little bit, but this one you push down. You push down to unlock it. So that's kind of cool. Anyways, if you do guys have cables in the way, feel free to disconnect them. It's not a big deal. You just remove them, unplug them, move them out of the way, and that's perfectly fine. My computer case is really large, so I don't have to worry about that. By the way, my power supply is a EVGA 500 watts. So if you do look for a power supply that is that size, you can certainly go for EVGA. There's also a link in the description for the same one. Okay, now I'm going to install my card. If your card came with a little protection thing that protects the little connectors here, be sure to remove it, obviously. I don't have to tell you guys are awesome. Otherwise, awesome in the sense that you already know what you're doing when it comes to computers. And let me show you something real quick before I insert this. When it comes to inserting these cards, you always have to make sure that these little inserts, they go underneath here, and that's not clearly visible in a lot of cases. You can see there's a little gap underneath. I hope that comes out on the video pretty good, but there's enough room just for those inserts. Supposed to align like so and go into the PCI Express slot like that. You see there's a little gap. Make sure that's aligned properly to that so that the gap goes over the little notch, and then you push it down. And you'll know when it clicks in the back that it went down in the back properly, but just kind of make sure that these copper connectors go all the way down. And you can also see that by looking at the back to see if it actually aligned properly. So let's go ahead and do that. All you got to do is just align it. Make sure it's aligned properly. Back and forth. Don't push down anything. Don't push down on anything unless you're 100% sure that it's aligned. And then it goes in. You probably heard it click. Please make sure you take your time whenever you're doing this. So I don't want you to make a mistake. No rush. I know it's exciting, new video card and all that. By the way, you can see this one is actually a bit shorter than the other one, but it should be faster. Just make sure that the holes are aligned here. We're going to put our screws back in. And again, guys, I'm going to show you benchmarks in 4K. 1080p, we know this thing is going to crush it. 1440p, it's going to crush it. 60 frames per second. Everything maxed out on 1440p. But I do want to make it playable on 4K, and I feel like I can do that. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to watch my video, guys. Have I said that enough? Jeez, this guy trying to push his video, trying to get those view times so that YouTube can help him get more views by pushing it in front of more people, guys. Watch time, gotta have that watch time. Oh yeah, I just plugged the back in because it's just 8-pin. We're done with that, guys. Let me not waste any more time with this. Let's get to the benchmarking, guys. So needless to say, my card has been installed in my computer now. Now let me show you something real quick. Make sure you install the most current drivers, which are this at this time, and of course make sure that you uninstall any previous drivers if you had a video card like me that's especially of a different brand. So make sure that you do uninstall them first. Remove it first before you actually do any of that we just did. So remove the AMD drivers. I mean, you don't have to, but that's what I would recommend. And then download the current NVIDIA drivers, which are this at this time. So whatever that may be, go to Google, type in NVIDIA drivers, pick the card you have, your operating system, download it and install it. So as you noticed, I'm recording this outside of the computer, not inside of the computer. So I'm not using like recording software to record a screen to give it a chance to this card to actually reach the at least 60 frames per second on computer that we have here, which are the specs as you see here. So it's an i7 with 4770K. Let me zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see better. It's i7 with 4770K, and it's not overclocked or anything. It's a standard speed, so it's a maximum of 3.5 gigahertz, which is fine. And memory is 16 gigabytes at 3900 megahertz speed in dual channel. So again, I just kind of want to point this out that if I'm recording on the computer at the same time and try to get 60 frames per second, it may not happen in 4K. So if I record it outside here, then it has a chance, because you lose sometimes 10-15 frames per second while you're trying to record the gameplay at the same time. And also I'm recording this video specifically in 60 frames per second, so you guys can see whether it's actually smooth or not when it comes to performance. Alright, my friends, time to test. We do have a benchmark. This game is called Strange Brigade, but it has a benchmark built in. I believe this uses Unreal 4 engine. I'm not 100% sure, but two people do use it for benchmarks. It is set to 3840 by 2160, as you can see here. So this is 4K resolution on my monitor. Render scale was at 70%. By the way, that was leftover from my previous card, and the game ran just fine. So I'm going to leave it back to 100%, which is the actual 4K resolution that we have. I had it lowered to 70 before, and of course I had to customize things to have it running. Here I'm just going to select to Ultra, and to be fair, I'm going to customize it and remove anti-aliasing, because at this resolution we don't really need anti-aliasing. Everything else is set to Ultra. However, what I'm expecting is actually to get 60 FPS on medium settings, but let's see what happens on Ultra. And motion blur, where's our I hate motion blur, by the way. I'm going to remove that too as one of the things we can. Anti-aliasing is set to ultra. We're going to turn that off just to give it a fighting chance. I'm going to turn it off. Again, if you don't know what anti-aliasing is basically removes the jagged edges on items and things that you see. But with such a high resolution, you don't really need anti-aliasing. And I really can't explain that hard enough, but that's how it is. That's just simply how it is. Let's run our benchmark. Right now we're getting solid 52, 56, 55 frames per second. If you can't see that, I will show you the results. It does show over here in the left corner. Now it's 50, 51, 50 frames per second, 59, 60 frames per second right now. It's pretty darn amazing. Solid 60 frames per second. Looks like it's because the VSync. It would probably go higher. I probably should have turned that off. 46, 45, 47, 48, 59. This is with VSync turned on. 49, 50, 47, 46, 47, 47. So when there's a lot of going on, it does go down to 47. Keep in mind this is at ultra, so we can still adjust this accordingly. Still looks good. I mean, if you're playing on console and you don't necessarily care about it getting constant 100, or I should say, that would be nice. 100, I was going to say 100 frames per second, but 60 frames per second, that, you know, this may be more than acceptable. To me, I would totally play this, to be fair, to be honest, at 52 average FPS. Let's just do, you know what, let's just do high, right? High, and I'm going to turn on the VSync, because I don't like, so I'm going to keep the VSync off. I use the default high, and I'm going to turn off anti-aliasing because just to give it a fair chance. So here we are, high, setting to high, VSync off, 67, 68, 56, 54 right now, 58 FPS, 61. It went to jump to 62 a little bit. Now it's holding 60, 57, 55. So far so good. 670 frames, 71 frames per second on high, 73, 74. Okay, 60. Now it's 54 frames per second. 51, 50, 48, 47. It really takes a toll on it right here. It went down to 40 just briefly, and now it's at 50, 51. It does dip down into 40s occasionally. Now it's 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 50. So it's a lot better with lowering it down to high settings, which to me is pretty excessive. So at this high area, high motion area where there's a lot going on, he was doing around 50, 52. So that's at the hardest, I guess I want to say, difficulty at trying to perform this. So here we go, 56 FPS average on high with anti-aliasing off. Not bad. Let's move on to other video games. So of course I have to show Fortnight. This is Fortnite multiplayer, not the Save the World one. So let me show you the settings real quick, then I'm going to jump into the game and I'll spare you the part where I jump down. This is what I had before in order to run with my old card. I'm going to set it up to 4K, and you know what, let me see, I'm going to click automatic. I'm just going to leave it automatic, but I suspect much like the Strange Brigade, Epic settings might be the sweet spot for this. I'm going to turn off anti-aliasing. So everything's set to Epic except anti-aliasing. I'm going to turn off VSync. Motion blur is off because I hate it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. You can turn it on or off, whatever you want. Let's see here. And right away you can see that we're doing 45 frames per second. I'll do a post zoom in so you guys can see. So I'm going to do a Team Rumble. I am terrible at this game, so I'll see you as soon as it loads. So here we are, we're getting about 40 frames per second. Now this is near water, so you can see that the reflections can also lower the resolution. I don't want to say resolution, but the frames per second. So at 39, 38, next to the body of water, which can be, again, it could be effective. 39, So with 39, 40 frames on average on epic settings with anti-aliasing turned off, we know that's not going to work for us. So we're going to change those settings real quick. I'm going to set the settings to high, so everything's set to high. A lot of computers won't be able to run this at epic at anything higher than 60 anyways to begin with. So we got high, and then we've gone to have anti-aliasing off. And the 3D resolution, I'm going to change it all the way to 4K. So that means it's actual full-blown 4K at 100%. Of course, you can lower this and get a lot more frames per second, but that's not what we want. We want to see if this actually will work at legit 4K, regardless to details. You know, whether it's low, medium, high, or epic. So we're going to see what that does. And I'm getting 60, 61 frames per second. Tree, I'm going to zoom in, guys, for you real quick so you can see. That's just against the tree right here. So I want you to see it's kind of white, but you can see it's right there. I'm going to zoom in for you. I'm going to run around. I apologize I didn't show the FPS earlier because my angle of my camera. So let me just grab a couple of things here. I'm going to go in real quick. And of course, looking at the wall, I'm going to get 70 plus FPS. So I need to at least get a gun for this area. So let me just do this real quick. And I saw some ammo underneath. You know, I'll be happy with this shotgun just for now. So that way, in case I do get an encounter, I am not destroyed immediately. So 57, 58. I'm going to make it so that you guys can see 67, 60 there. 56 by the body of water. That's actually pretty amazing. You can see it looks pretty amazing too. Let me do a little bit of zoom out action here. And just to adjust the angle a little bit. So let me show you. I live in the show me state, so I'm going to show you how it plays. It looks amazing, by the way. It's so crisp running it at actual true 4K. It's just amazing. Let's see. I have 6 minutes before the shield comes through. So far, 60 frames per second on average, 56, 57. I'd say that's 60. That's pretty close to 60, right? Wow, I thought I was going to have to adjust a little bit more there. I saw it dip for a fraction of a second into 40s, but it came right back up without any... Ooh, what is this thing, actually? Gliders. It's been a while since I actually played. Game engine. I'm sorry for the pause there. It's the same engine, Unreal 4 engine, so if you have a game that is Unreal 4 type, then you can probably expect the same type of performance, given that the game is optimized well. Again, 56 frames right now. Oh yeah, I'm gonna jump up there and see if this glider thing works. What is this about? This pickup. And you know, considering that this is oh, so this just lets you basically deploy. That's all it does. Considering that this computer that I have is an older computer, and you could say that it's outdated right now. With this card, it's running amazing. So you can do 4K. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Yes, you have to tweak some settings, but you can do 4K, you know? Let me see if I can at least kill somebody here. I'm using a controller. Well, I got him. Yay! And he was a streamer too. And I mean, we jumped him, but you know, considering the fact that I am really bad at this game and I killed a streamer, I'll take it, guys. I'll take it. Okay, we're gonna move on to another game that's going to be Destiny 2. Oh, let me see if I can get him. Oh, he got him before me. Anyways, let's head on to Destiny 2, see how that runs. Alright, so far so good. So this game is Destiny 2. Now we have a game that I was actually able to run in 4K while using the other card, which is quite a bit older. And let's kind of go to the settings and see what we have right now. I think I did have 3840 by 2160, as you can see here, and I had VSync on. I'm going to turn that off just to see what we can get. Full screen, graphics quality, I had it custom. This is what I had on my old card, and I had the render resolution at 80%, and which allowed me to actually play it at 4K with my old card. So let's try just high settings. Again, I'm going to turn this up all the way 16 times. Should be able to handle that just fine. Texture quality. And again, I want to turn off motion blur because I simply hate it. It does have an impact on performance. And render resolution 100%. Let's see, where is anti-aliasing? I'm going to turn that off as well. Again, we don't need that. Apply changes. That's been done, and I'm going to go in game and see what's going on. So we're inside the game. I'm just using a gamepad, and so far we are getting around 55 to 60 frames per second, just dropping down here. Really good so far. Let's see if we can maintain that in some kind of battle, of form of battle, some kind of activity. So far, if you want to know where the counter is, it's right up here. I will zoom in occasionally so you guys can see that. So far so good, 60 FPS, not a whole lot going on. Oh, he's immune to that. Well, let's see if he's immune to that. Not bad. We're getting around 60 frames per second the way it is right now. I'd say that is really good considering we did some minor changes. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see here. He is way over my level, I think. I don't know why I'm not able to get any damage on him. So, I guess 60 FPS on average. I am pleasantly surprised that it's doing well. Occasional hitch there, but this could be due to the fact that I'm actually not running this game off of a solid state drive. This is just on a regular magnetic storage. So, I mean, what else is there to say? 60 frames per second, just right off the bat, it's like, I'm pleasantly surprised, guys. If you'd like me to test some other games, please let me know. I'm here to help you. If you have any questions, installing anything, or with installation, with drivers, I am a certified IT professional. No joke. And it's my job, literally, to work on computers and help people out, whether they have any questions in regards to that, or in regards to computers or anything like that. If you want to buy this card, there's a link in the description. If you use that link, I will get some percentage from that. So if you do, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Alright. I hope you like this video. Please share it with friends or family. And I think I'm just gonna play some games. I'm kind of being distracted here with this, yeah, I think I'm gonna go enjoy this game. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.